blood out through the aorta, and it starts to arch to go back behind in the heart, and really before it comes back out, you know, beneath the diaphragm here. We have the three major branches that we want to look at. We're not going to worry about the other branches that come off because there are a number of them, but they're not really represented on this model. They're not important. So first branch coming off is called the brachiocephalic, and it's only really about between the probe and my finger. Okay, so it's not a right or left because there's only one artery that's called brachiocephalic. So it then, right, will branch under here, right about here, to become a right carotid and a right subclavian. Okay, the next branch off that arch, right, as it's coming around here, is called the left carotid because I see it going up to the head on the left side. And then the final branch off the aorta is the left subclavian going into the left arm. Okay, so if I trace the subclavians, because I'm not going to have to go any further with the carotids, if I trace the subclavians, this one kind of ends just because of the model. So on the left side, it stays continuous, and I get into a region like here, which is axillary, because I'm at where the humerus meets the scapula. And then as I continue down with the humerus, this is the brachial. And we have an ulnar and a radius that comes off of this, but they don't represent it here. It's represented a little bit on this side, but you can't trace it very well because of the way the model's made, so I don't ask it. This aorta then comes out underneath the diaphragm and is now the descending abdominal aorta, and it's delivering to all the viscera here. So the first branch that's blocked by all the branches that come off of it is the celiac, and from the celiac would be a left hepatic, a right hepatic, a splenic, and there'd be gastric, two gastrics, but that's what they show. And as I continue down, the next branch off the whole aorta is the superior mesenteric, and it's going to feed blood to the small intestine. All right. There'd be the renals, which are right beneath the superior mesenteric, left and right renal. And then there should be another paired branch in here, but it's not on this model. There should be this pair called the left and right gonadals. And so they're missing. But the last branch off this whole tube we call the descending aorta is the inferior mesenteric, and it takes blood to the large intestine that would also be just found around here. The descending aorta splits and is no more. So once it splits, we get a right common iliac, because again the ilium here, and a left common iliac. It splits again, so this is internal left internal iliac artery, right? And this is the left external iliac. And similar on the right, we'd have an internal, right internal, and a right external. They then cut off the arteries, so we don't have to follow on the right side down into the leg, but on the left side it continues. And so as the vessel passes by the femur, it's the femoral, okay, it's fairly continuous, but then as it passes behind the knee, right, marked by the patella, this is going to be the left popliteal, because there is a right one. Again, just because they took it off doesn't mean it's not there, right? There is a posterior tibial and an anterior tibial, and that's probably anterior there too, but tibial, as it runs by that tibia. As for venous return, because this will go down and it'll divide into capillaries, and then we'll need to recover the blood. And so they've removed all the deep veins, right? They're cut off here, and here you can see there's nothing we can name in these legs. So we did leave the superficials, and that's what we have here. We have this long, right, the great saphenous vein coming up the medial side of the leg and joining with the femoral that's removed here, right? And becoming on each side external iliac veins, okay? And of course, internal iliac veins, so common iliac veins. They converge into the inferior vena cava, and we drain from the kidneys with the renal veins. And we can't see it on this model, but this would be, these branches right in here would be coming from all the viscera, and they would drain into the liver. So this would be part of the hepatic, portal hepatic venous system. And then after the blood moves through the liver, it will drain back out through the hepatic vein there into the inferior vena cava. The inferior vena cava then, of course, drains into the right side. The superior vena cava, coming back from the head and neck, well, we have, of course, the jugulars, which are equal to the carotids, but jugular veins, right and left jugular. We have subclavians, even though it's kind of cut off really short here. So a left subclavian, right subclavian. And I said that the jugular and the subclavians come together in a short tube on the right side and a longer tube on the left side before they become the superior vena cava. So on the right, the short one is the right brachiocephalic, and then the left side, of course, left brachiocephalic, is where jugulars and subclavians join. Okay. In the arm, again, we lose everything on the left side, and we have just really the superficial veins on the right side. So we have this right here on the outside surfaces of the arm. We have this cephalic, so right cephalic vein joining into the subclavian, and we have a right basilic or basilica vein coming in. The median cubital can look like this. Your book, I think, shows it as one connection between the two. They don't number it. They didn't make the model just to show it, but here again between the cephalic and the basilic would be this joining vessel that's probably this here. That would be called the median cubital vein, so median between the two, and this is where, of course, we draw blood, right? And we're not going to trace any further.